Chazara begins on Yud Beis Amud Beis, line 19, the first Mishnah. The Mishnah is discussing if somebody was in their miklat and he ended up killing. Says the Mishnah, Harag after Ritzach killed Ba'isa here. Yeah, first Mishnah. Yeah. Oh, you weren't there for that night, right?
No, I was there.
You were there. The next night you missed.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Says the Mishnah, Harag after Ritzach killed Ba'isa here in that city while he was in their miklat. Goyla mishchuna l'shchuna. They go to Golos from one neighborhood to another. Ben Levi is just a reference to a person that's living in her miklat, even though he never killed. He just happens to be living in her miklat. Goyla will go to Golos merely from city to city. And the Mishnah says the Gemara. Tana Rabbanah. The Gemara is going to bring a brayso here.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which Mishnah is that?
First Mishnah on Yud Beis Amud Beis.
Oh, Horak was here. Okay,
yeah, you were here for that, Chaim.
Yeah.
So, the Gemara is going to bring a brayso which is going to explain to us what happened in the Midbar when before the Ari Miklat were effective. The Gemara is going to tell us there was an area of Machne Leviyah, the area immediately around the Mishkan, which did protect the Ritzah. Right, this week's parsha talking about Avodas HaMishkan. Says the Gemara, Tana Rabbanah. The Rabbanah told us in a brayso, the pasuk says, quote, "V'samti l'cha makom v'goymer," end quote. I'm going to make a place for you, end quote. So we're going to darshan. We're breaking up this pasuk. We're going to have two separate drashas. V'samti l'cha and l'cha makom. We use the l'cha going in both directions. Says the Gemara, "V'samti l'cha." The words "V'samti l'cha" teach you b'chayecha. The Moshe Rabbeinu, this place of protection in the midbar is going to be. There is going to be a place active during your lifetime. So, in spite of the fact that the Ir Miklat that Moshe Rabbeinu set up didn't work, but there was an active location during his lifetime. And then we add one word there, l'cha makom. The place will be yours, meaning b'mkaimecha, in your place where the Levium lived. And the pasuk continues, quote, "Asher Yonos Shama," end quote, that Ritzach will escape there. Malama, this teaches us Yisrael Megal Midbar that the Yidden went to Golos in the Midbar. Laheichad Megal, where did they go to Golos? Doesn't mean they actually went, but it means where did they have the ability to go to Golos to? Lamachne Leviyah, to Machne Leviyah. Mikan Omer, from here they said that Ben Levi, Shaharag Ben Levi, they killed Goyla, goes to Golos, Miplach Leplach, from city to city. He has the option to go from city to city. Bim Gola Leplach, but if he went to his own city, Plach Kota, the city will protect him. Omer Rav Breder Ravika, says Rav Breder Ravika, the son of Ravika Mikra, which pasuk teaches us that a person that was already protected in their miklat can go to another location in that miklat and be protected. Says the Gemara, the pasuk is, quote, "Ki be'er miklatoi yeshev." In his miklat, in the city of his protection, he will dwell, and with our shenir, the city shechal tasei kvar, which previously protected him. So the city that he was already serving as a protection.
So what happened to this place in the Machne Leviyah when they were
traveling?
Yeah.
So I assume wherever the Levium traveled, there was also an order of how the Shvatim traveled. The Levium traveled along with carrying the Mishkan. So I guess their area, when they were traveling, their area held the Ir Miklat. It was like a mobile Ir Miklat. All right. Okay. Says the Gemara right to Kayetzabai. Mishnah, next Mishnah. Kayetzabai similarly, and we said similarly is it's a continuation of a Mishnah Masechah Shvius, which says that when a loan gets canceled and somebody comes to pay back the loan, you have to tell him no, you don't have to pay back. Shemitah passed. If he insists on paying back anyway, so you're allowed to take it. Kayetzabai similarly, Ritzach Shagol Lir Miklata.
Even if you make a prismal?
So if you make a principle, you not just may you take it back, but you can demand the money back. Principle overrides this din, totally. But if you didn't make a prosbol,
so what's the whole principle? I don't know if you want to go into it now.
I don't mind. We have an extra minute or two tonight. The idea is that
it's like a law, a loophole law.
Yes, it's a loophole law. The reason why it was created by Hillel Hazak, and the Mishnah says in Gittin, I think it is, that Hillel Hiskim prosbol pnei taken oil. The din is as follows: if I lend you money before Shemitah, and Shemitah comes, machlokes if it's the beginning of Shemitah or the end of Shemitah, we pass and it's the end of Shemitah. So the end of Shemitah comes, so you lent me money, I don't have to pay back. Not only don't I have to pay back, if I come to pay back, you have to refuse. You have to say, no, don't. Right? Now, if I come to you a day before the end of Shemitah, and I say, Chaim, can I borrow money? And you say, no, I don't want to lend somebody money now, because Shemitah is coming and it's going to cancel the loan. So you would just over a loisa say by saying those words. The pasuk says, don't say, Shemitah is coming, I don't want to lend anybody money.
Oh, well.
So now, but what are you going to do? My people were doing that.
Right.
So, and everybody was losing out. The borrower was losing out because nobody wanted to lend the money, and the lender was doing an avera by refusing the money.
Yep.
So Hillel came along and he said, I have a way to get around this. I'm going to make a prosbol. In the prosbol it says that it's really given into the control of Bezdin. Bezdin could collect the loan, just I can't. I'm sort of like in place of Bezdin to collect the loan which is owed to me. Actually, this past end of Shemitah, Erev Rosh Hashanah, I was by my in-laws for Rosh Hashanah in Brooklyn. So I had written a prosbol, but I wanted to do this mitzvah of canceling loans. So I lent my mother-in-law $2 or $2, like an hour before Rosh Hashanah after I wrote the prosbol. So now the prosbol doesn't catch that. I wrote the prosbol that morning. Anything that's lent out after that prosbol is not on the prosbol. She's like, why? Well, when I just need you for my mitzvah, whatever. Just do it for me, right? She's like, okay, I'll borrow money from you, and that was it. So
you Dafka didn't want to use the prosbol?
Well, some guy that owes me $1,000, I wanted to use the prosbol for, but I wanted to do this mitzvah. I wish, right?
Clearly.
so
12%.
But I wanted to do the mitzvah of relinquishing a loan on Shemitah. I can't do that if I wrote a prosbol that morning. So I lent money after I wrote the prosbol, so the prosbol doesn't work on that money. The prosbol only works on everything which was lent out before the prosbol was written. So
you made a prosbol?
I made a prosbol in the morning.
Did you have loans and things?
I have people owe me money. It's not just a loan. If somebody owes you money and you already calculated how much he owes, even if somebody has an account at the grocery and he bought on credit.
How much people owe you? Like 6 figures, 7 figures? What are we talking about?
Off the record, Chai.
Yeah. Just want to know we're in the wealthy community here.
Yeah. I always tell me them. I said they call me the Gvir of Fox Hill. That's the street that I live on.
Okay.
I said I'm from the 12 wealthiest from Yidden on Fox Hill. Like, how many people are there? I'm like 4. And I'm from the top 12. You know where I'm up to, right?
Number 1.
No, Baruch Hashem, I have everything that I need. Berevach.
Rich and enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Says the Mishnah. And the people of the city want to give him kavod. You should say to them, I am a murderer. I don't know if you want to put me up as your rabbi, as your mayor, as your sheriff, whatever position it was they wanted to give him. If they said to him, even so, we still want to appoint you. The Kabbalah, he can accept the covenant from them. Shalem, the pasuk says, "V'zed davar ha'etzech," quote unquote, "V'zed davar ha'etzech." These are the words of the Ritzach. This just teaches us that the Ritzach has got to speak up. Next din. We spent some time on this one, that the cities would bring in profit for the Levium because the Ritzach would pay rent. That's what Rabbi Yehuda said. Rameir says, the cities would not bring in a profit because the Ritzach do not have to pay rent. Next din, but when he goes back home from Ir Miklat, when the Kohen Gadol dies, so the Ritzach returns l'Sarara to the position of authority, of leadership, Shayaba that it previously held. Divir Rameir, those are the words of Rameir. Rabbi Yehuda says, Lo Chayzer did not return l'Sarara to the position Shayaba that he previously held. Rather, once he's demoted, he remains demoted. Amar Rav Kahana, says Rav Kahana, this is going on the first machlokes of the Mishnah, if he pays rent or not. Says Rav Kahana, the machlokes if he pays rent is b'sheish, by the 6 Ari Miklat. Demar Sav Rabbi Yehuda holds that the pasuk says lachem. We still have it up on the board. By the 6 Ari Miklat, the pasuk says these cities should be lachem for you. You have some sort of ownership on it. So leklita, that you will be able to be protected by it. But that's where the lachem ends. It does not provide free rent. Umar Sav Rameir holds lachem means l'chol tzarcheichem for all your needs. Aval Barbo Mushtaim by the 42 cities. Everybody agrees that the Reitzim would have to pay rent, and therefore the Levi would make a profit. Amalei Rav said no. However, this is certain that the word lachem means l'chol tzarcheichem mashma is mashma for all your needs, including free rent. Elam Rav rather says Rav. Machloikis to machloikis if you pay rent or not is Barbo Mushtaim by the 42 cities, because over there. Demar Sava Rabbi Yehuda holds Va'aleim Titnu, and the pasuk said, quote unquote, Va'aleim Titnu, that in addition to the original 6, you have to make another 42. It was the same as the original 6 in which respect? Kihanach, like the original 6, Leklita, that it also protected. Umar Sava Barameir holds that when the pasuk says Va'aleim Titnu, that in addition to the original 6, you should make another 42, it means Kihanach exactly like the first 6. Ma'anach, just like the first 6, l'chol tzarcheichem, provide all your needs, including free rent. Afhani nami, so to the other 42, l'chol tzarcheichem means for all your needs, and they provide free rent. Aval b'sheish, but the original 6 are a miklot. Divrei Hakol, everybody will agree. Lo yayu malim lem sachar. They did not bring in a profit, meaning there was no rent paid. So that was Gemara from earlier in the week. Now we have one more Gemara for last night, which we did not yet review. Says the Gemara, line 14. Chayzer l'sarara shahayaba. And this is a very pasuk-oriented Gemara. So quotation marks are of the essence. Chayzer l'sarara shahayaba. The Mishnah Bora Machlokes, if he gets back his position of authority, of when he goes back home after the death of the Kohen Gadol. Says the Gemara, Tana Rabbanan. Rabbanan told us in a brayso, quote, the pasuk says, V'shav el mishpachta. This pasuk is referring to an Eved Ivri. So Michal, now at this point we're no longer talking about we're no longer talking about Eretzech going out of her miklat. We're talking about an Eved Ivri that is going back home at the end of 6 years of work. So the pasuk says, quote, V'shav el mishpachtoi, he will return to his family, V'lachuzas avoisav, and to the estate of his fathers, Yoshav, he will return. End quote. So we darshan from this, L'mishpachtoi Yoshav, says Rabbi Yehuda, he'll return to his family only, Ve'eno Yoshav, but he does not return, L'mashechziku avoisav, to the position that his father held, to the post that his father held, Divei Rabbi Yehuda. That's what Rabbi Yehuda said. Rameir says, Afu Shav, line 18, he also returns L'mashechziku avoisav, to the position which was held by his fathers. Where does he learn that from? Rameir says, what was that? Yeah, if he was a rabbi, if he was the president, he was the mayor, whatever position his father held, in those days position was handed down father to son. So, Achuzas avoisav, he says there's an extra word there. You could just say he'll return to his land. Why does it say to the estate, to the land of his father? To tell you, after the end of line 17.
Different from the previous machlokes?
So no, this one's just talking about Eved Ivri. So about Eved Ivri that was working, and now with the 6 years up, he's going back home. So the original machlokes was there because in that pasuk it says he goes back al achuzas avoisav, to the estate of his fathers. So Rameir learned. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't darshan anything from there, but Rameir learns from that. Let's go back to Rameir, line 17. Rameir says Afu Shav, he also returns L'mashechziku avoisav, to the position his father held, because the pasuk says, quote, El achuzas avoisav, end quote. So we underline the avoisav. The emphasis is,
Lamasa, it looks like Rameir is right over,
because it says an extra word there, avoisav. Okay, I don't know what Rabbi Yehuda does with that, but he doesn't darshan it. So he darshans ki avoisav.
That first pasuk, V'shavel mishpachtu el chuzes avoisav.
Yashuv. There's one more word in the pasuk. Yeah, that word's going to be important in a minute. Right? That word's also extra. Because it says he should return to his family, and to his father's estate he should return. So you could have left out that last word. We're going to get to that. But first we just have this machlokes. When the Eved Ivri goes back home, does he only go back to his family? Does he also get back the position that he held? Then the brayso continues in the second word in line 19. V'chein begoila, and the same machlokes will be by somebody that went to Golos. Why? Where do you get that machlokes? Because by Golos we don't have any extra word that teaches us that he should get back the position. Says the brayso, Kishawoimer, when the pasuk adds the word Yashuv, quote unquote Yashuv, that was an extra word by Eved Ivri that said Yashuv l'rabbis as haritzeach. That will also include haritzeach that he also has, according to Rameir, he also has the right to get back his position. Period. End of brayso. Now the Gemara wants to understand, how does the word Yashuv tell you to apply this din by a haritzeach that's going back home? This din is said by Eved Ivri, and at the end of the pasuk it says Yashuv, he should return. How do you see in that this din that Rameir says he gets his position back will extend to a killer that's going home as well? Good? So the Gemara asks that all in 2 words. 3 words. Mai v'chein begoila. What do the words v'chein begoila mean? Where'd you get that v'chein begoila? How did you extend the din of your miklat of Eved Ivri to also apply by your miklat when he goes back home? Says the Gemara, bringing another brayso which will explain that. Kidetanya, like the brayso taught us, the pasuk says, Yoshuv or Ritzeach, the Ritzeach will return, El Eretz Achuzasoi, to the land of his inheritance, to his estate, end quote, to the land that he had the Yerusha. So from that pasuk we say, La Eretz Achuzasoi Hushav, he only returns to the land of his inheritance, to his Yerusha, to his estate. Ve'ena Ishav, but he doesn't return Lamashech Ziku Avoisav, to the position his father held. Divir Rabbi Yehuda, that's what Rabbi Yehuda said. Rameir Eimer. Rameir, as we know, holds that he does get that position back, and the Gemara is going to explain to us how we know that. Rameir says, Afu Shav, he also returns L'mashech Ziku Avoisav, to the position that was held by his father. Where do we see that? Because Gomar learns Xer Shava, quote unquote Shiva, quote unquote Shiva. It says return in the word Yashuv. Shiva is referring to the word Yashuv. It says the word Yashuv by Eretzeach. In 4 lines before the end, it said Yashuv by Eretzeach l'Eretzeach uzasai. So it said the word Yashuv by Eretzeach. And remember, by Avid Ivri, we also added the word Yashuv. We added an extra word at the end of the pasuk Yashuv, so we should make this connection. Gomer, we're learning Xer Shava. Shiva return, Behasam from there being Avid Ivri. So from Avid Ivri, we're going to learn, just like by Avid Ivri, Rameir is going to darshan from Avoisav, that he gets back the position that was held by his fathers. So too, he's going to extend that with Xer Shava to the din of Ir Miklat, that the Retzeach is also going to get back the position that was held by his fathers. Okay, Rabbi.